think so.
I think it's doing it. Everything looks right there. Everything looks right here. Okay. No one's watching. But guys, if you're interested in coming back, we will absolutely be. Hi Joe, how you doing, man? I have no idea. Remember when I said we're getting this bizarro weather thing happening? That could be what's happening. Hey Steve, hey Mark, hey Jesse, Andrew, Doug, how you doing, Doug? Chris, Jim, Dan, Jason, Leo, Dastardly Dave, Brad, Jeffrey. All right, guys, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on.
It was going so well.
I was doing great too.
You really were.
I wasn't saying the F word or anything.
We were so proud of you.
I know. I was doing such a good job.
Unbelievable.
So guys, I have no idea what's going on.
I can't even remember where we were, and we lost all the questions. So
yeah,
if you had a question, re-ask your question.
Yeah. In the meantime, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the Great Guitar Build-Off. As you know, we are. Did you know, Chris, that we are one of the judges? You and I represent one judging vote, which that's fine.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it goes. Let's talk about some of the other judges and what this could possibly mean if you guys are planning on entering the Great Guitar Build-Off. So if you go to the Great Guitar Build-Off page and you look up GGBO 2021, you will see a heading that's judges. And there are lots of judges that have been added in case you're not following. Look at these two handsome guys right here from Texas Toast Guitars. So as you know, Chris and I will be judging. Derek from Big D Guitars will be judging. And I think so, guys, that's where the guitar builders pretty much end on the judging panel, at least of who's doing the judging now. So next we have Mary Spender, who we talked a little bit about, a very talented guitar player and singer. Maria Mango Guitars, she's a musician, guitar player. There's Steve Guitar, who does reviews and guitar lessons, live looping and tutorials, stuff like that. And he has a channel that's based out of Georgia. I wonder if maybe Dylan from Dylan Talks Tone and Steve from Steve Guitar would come to the shop this year. That'd be fun. And someone was added today, either today or yesterday, Sophie Burrell. And she's a guitar player and looks like she's endorsed by like Paul Reed Smith and Ernie Ball and stuff. So what this tells me is that they're going for a lot of judges who are guitar players or guitar reviewers, maybe, I don't know, who have big channels with a lot of followers, which you blame them? That just makes sense. But what I would strongly urge you guys to consider if you're doing this, and we're going to make a bunch of videos about this, is build something that is unique to you, but also familiar enough to where you don't, turn off the judges because they're like, well, what's this kooky thing? On the other hand, they might go, I want to see kooky stuff. I don't know. It's tricky. Last year was easier because we knew going in like who was going to be there, and we could probably guess what they were going to do based on their videos. And Chris and I actually came real close to figuring out what some people were going to do, and we had a lot of fun. And I think you're going to have a lot of fun this year too. It's going to be harder to read the playing field, if you will.
Yep.
So, okay, sorry about that.
Are you ready for some questions?
I'm ready.
All right, I'm going to go a little bit out of order because I remember this one from the previous.
Okay.
From V1 of this.
V1.
Brad wants a little bit more clarification on the previous classes we've done. If we order the body and the neck classes, can we still get the body and neck blank?
Yes, you absolutely can. Right now, you can order the neck class and a neck. They're available right now. Right now, I don't think you can order the body class and a body, but like I say, we're planning on being snowed in this weekend, so give me a few days and it'll be up and available. If you want, send me an email, Brad, and I will email you the information once it becomes available.
And I like Brad's handle, Brad Guitar Miller.
Brad Guitar Miller. You know what Brad Guitar Miller should have? He should have a fretboard with his name on it, like this Maui one
Like
here.
Brad Guitar, yeah.
Like
Miller.
imagine if he had a neck that said Brad Guitar Miller on it. That'd be rad.
That would be. All right, Karsten Hammer Hansen.
Hey, Karsten.
Another great handle, although I think that's just a name. Planning ahead here, if you bind a carb top like your toast right,
Yeah.
do you route the binding channel before carving or vice versa?
The way that I have done it with the best results is to route for binding after it's carved. But you have to have a special binding contraption. And Karsten, I showed you guys that contraption. It's that movie uppy downy router thing that we had in the class on Saturday. And you got to have that. The neat thing about a system like that is one area, and that is on a Les Paul. Traditionally, the binding rode up above the joint of maple and mahogany, so you could see a sliver of maple there. If you're building a Les Paul for someone, you really want to have that sliver of maple because they go, ooh, sliver of maple. Then Gibson pretty much stopped doing that for a while, and it was like all just matched the where the seam of the maple met the mahogany, but people kind of dig in that cutaway. There's only one spot on a Les Paul where it doesn't. It's in the cutaway, but people like to see that.
So on the toast right, we usually go around with the.
Oh, he said the toast right, not the Challenger. Yeah.
Yeah. So the what do you call that bit? The round.
The cove bit.
Cove bit.
Yep.
We go around with the cove bit, and then we.
Yeah, so if you
go
went
around with the binding bit because the body's still flat. So
because the body's still flat. That's
and it gives you a nice index point in which to create your carve and not go past that.
One of the things that I tried many years ago was to route the binding channel before I did anything else and gluing it in. And it was really tricky to get it to, because I thought, well, then you can mash it in. It just didn't work. And I tried it one times and it didn't work, so I gave up on it and went back to the old school way.
Yep, cool. Steve Folino asks, on your necks, do you
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, on your necks, do you Simtex seal it first and then clear them? Also, do you buff the headstock like a body?
Yes.
Yeah, so we do all of that. We Simtech them, and then we put clear over them, or we put color, or we put tint and then color on them.
So so basically the way that we do things is wood, and then if you're going to use a grain filler like Aqua Coat, and by the way, if you type in, what is it, the Aqua Coat deal, Texas Toast 20 or whatever it is at checkout, I don't remember, guys, but if you do the Aqua Coat thing, so you do raw wood, sand it to 220, Aqua Coat, sealer, and then whatever colors you're going to do. So if you're using like maple neck and you want a like a vintage amber kind of tint, you spray your amber candy over the sealer and then spray your clear over that. And if you want to have the headstock be nice and shiny, absolutely buff it just like you would a guitar body. Chris has been doing some super cool like, what do you call it? You call it the real nice treatment.
Yeah.
But it's like a matte finish that you scuff back.
Yeah, it's just a very scuffed back satin semi-gloss finish on the neck. So you can, the way that I do that is I scuff the neck back to about 600 grit, and then I mask it off and polish the parts that I want to have polished. Buffed. That was awesome.
That was me trying to
I didn't think we'd get any paint questions.
Well, you know what I think we should do very, very soon, Chris, is a Have a Beer with Uncle Chris paint, like a paint exclusive Q&A paint thing. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Sure, let's do that.
I think
That'll
you guys
be really, really fun.
I think it would be fun.
Yeah, all right. Dave Hawkinson asks, what pots, jacks, and switches do you guys use?
CTS Switchcraft.
Yeah.
That's the last word on all that stuff.
Yeah, we really do. Yeah.
Ugh. I think mixing. I get this weird oatmeal like turd smell in my foam.
Yeah. So Sean Emmenheiser says
Hi, Sean.
Aqua Code is for the discount is Texas Toast 10.
Oh, God bless you, Sean. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
Thank you very much. Mahoki63 asks best way to cut veneer on an existing body with contours and such. And we had another question earlier about veneer that we didn't get to. He may not be here anymore, but it was, would you suggest putting the veneer on a blank and then cutting out everything, or cutting out everything, then veneer, then trimming back the veneer?
If it was me and I had my druthers, I'd rather have a piece of veneer on a flat square board. Or if you wanted to have a contour, you could build the contour in and then and then put the veneer on and have it and then do all your cutting and routing and stuff with the veneer on. That's the way I would prefer to do it. What was the original question?
The other question was best way to cut veneer on an existing body with the contours and such, which is sort of the second question.
Yeah.
We've done that.
Yeah.
It's very much like doing a fabric top.
Yeah. You know what I would do is I would get the piece real close, and then I wouldn't route it. I wouldn't like put it on a table router and go buzzing around it, unless you absolutely had to. I would sand it. I would, because you're talking about a
on
20.
The edges?
Yeah, you're
What
talking
about-
about like a
what about, like,
23
pick-
thousandths,
Yeah.
stuff.
What about pickup routes?
Oh yeah, you'd need to. You'd
Would you
absolutely
razor blade them, or
you
would
could you could X-Acto knife that, or you could razor blade it, or you could route that. That would
You could
be
also put some
fine.
finish on it and hope that
Yeah,
stops a
kind
lot of
of
the chipping.
hold some of it. Yeah.
Because I think that's the issue.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you're having issues with, man, that to me, putting a veneer is very fragile, and you know what? It's not just fragile; it's frangible. And when it and there's a difference. That frangible is the term that like snow guys know what I'm talking about. It's sturdy, but when it goes, it just disintegrates. So and veneer is like that too. It's pliable, it's bendy, it's really strong in one direction, but as soon as you start like cutting the side of it, if any of it starts to feather like this, it'll just come apart. So having getting it close and like I said, anytime you can use an abrasive to cut something, you are less likely to have tear out than if you use a blade. Does that make sense?
Yep. Joe wants to know if
Hi, Joe.
blue tape might help that situation.
That's a great thing to give that a try. Yeah, that would be a way to do, like basically like Chris was saying, add a finish. Tape would do the same idea. Yeah.
I would try some of the blue tape on a scrap piece of the veneer though, because sometimes the blue tape will tear up the veneer as much.
When you go yanking the tape off, it can
depending
absolutely.
on the veneer. Yeah, these are great questions.
Thank you guys for bouncing back with us. I know we had like some technical issues.
Deegs asks, sanding sealer or primer, is there a difference? Thank you guys.
Yes, sanding sealer is every sanding sealer is a primer. Not every primer is a sanding sealer. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Sanding sealer is usually clear. Primer is usually
what I think is the difference.
Yeah, opaque.
Correct. Yeah, and you can use white paint as a primer for another color, while it's not exactly being used as a sanding sealer.
And remember, we're not talking about like automotive primer, which is designed to promote adhesion with the paint. There's no and as far as I'm concerned, guys, and I get no money from the people at Simtech for saying this, there is one true and holy sanding sealer, and that is the Simtech 2850 EZ sanding sealer. That is just, in answer to your next question, that's the one to get.
2850.
2850 EZ
50
sanding sealer. And somebody asked me some question, but they're like, "Hey, can you give me a link to that product?" I'm like, "No, I can't." And here's why. Simtech Coatings, their website, you can't order it there. You got to call them anyway.
Gotta call the man.
Yeah, you got to call them. There's no place to go. I want that order. No, and they ship all over the world. So to that guy in France who was like, I can't get this here in France. What exactly is the chemical makeup of that? I don't fucking know. First of all, Simtech, I know for a fact will send it to you. You probably just don't want to pay the shipping, which I totally get. But I have no idea what's in it or why it's cool. Well, actually, I know that it's cool. I don't know why it's cool. But yeah, just get that stuff if you can. And I know for a fact they ship worldwide. So
Yeah, and call them and say, I want the stuff Texas Toast uses.
Yeah.
And you think we're kidding you,
No.
but we're not.
now,
That's a real thing. They'll go, oh, 2850 sanding sealer. Yeah, that's cool. All right.
you want to know how I know that? Because every time I call Simtech, I'm like, hey, this is Matt at Texas Toast. Can you send me that stuff you always send us? And they're like, oh, yeah, sure, Matt. So,
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And as a follow-up from Deegs, do you guys ever use slow reducer when moving? Oh, mixing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we do.
We use different speed reducers and hardeners all the time.
Yeah. We're now lucky that our paint booth is pretty much the same temperature all the time.
Yeah, year round.
So we use either slow or medium, and really those two are almost interchangeable.
Is it too soon to tell people about the very exciting possibility that we found out about last night?
No,
No, it's not.
it's not too soon.
Well, guys, we were told last night that the person who we share a wall with will be moving out. And our landlord wanted to know if we would like to expand our shop into that space.
Because we are such fantastic tenants.
He's a cool guy.
and he has
yeah.
no problem with anything we do.
He's a very cool dude, and yeah. And so I think very, very soon Texas Toast is going to be expanding, and we want to take you guys along for the ride. So more on that to come very, very soon.
There you go. Good. Karsten Hammer Hansen. Chris, what are your aesthetic thoughts, solution on a vertical racing stripe and binding? Go, no go. I'm a car guy. I like racing stripes. I would definitely stop the stripes from going over the binding. Those two are separate things.
Might be cool to have the stripe be like the thing that stops the binding. You know what I mean? Like if you had, say you had black binding and a white stripe, the white stripe could end at the black binding. That could be the stopping point.
Correct. Yeah, it should look like the binding goes around whatever else is on the body.
But what I think would be, and he didn't ask me what I thought aesthetically, but I think if like the binding is exactly the same color as the stripe, then you kind of lose. That's like, well, then you got this weird like connecty thing.
They definitely have to be different.
Let
Yep.
me ask you, Chris, if you were going to put a racing stripe on a guitar, would you do like the old school car guys did, or like racing stripe and then a white circle with a number in as part of the stripe? You know
I
what I'm
might
talking
do
about?
that. Yeah,
That's cool,
yeah.
I think.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you can tell, I just watched Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah, you know, Schwinn did that on Stingray seats on the crates. They had 3 stripes and an S with a circle. And I recreated those seats for a bunch of years and sold them to a bunch of people. That was one
that's
of my
cool.
things. And yeah, and the nerdery around a bicycle is second to none.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're just now joining us, Chris and I have a bunch of weather-related things that could spell impending doom for everybody who lives in Colorado.
Yep.
But I think it's just going to be a snowstorm. But we might be closed out from a lot of things. So we're doing our Q&A a little early today. We will have a reveal tomorrow. I can't say right now whether it will be live or pre-recorded, but there's going to be an awesome reveal, not of this bad boy, because I'm revealing it a little bit right now. And we don't know what is up for Sunday. If there's 3 feet of snow, we're probably not going to come to the shop to do it. But I don't know. Maybe we'll figure out a way to do, maybe it'll just be me sitting around getting
It might be
drunk
you
in
with
my house.
special guest me.
Maybe we might be a Zoom thing. I'm not sure how we're going to do that, but
that might be a good time to learn that.
Ken, hold on, Ken. In email I sent you, you were getting a new tool for inlay. No, Ken, I can't. We are not sharing that for a little while. But very, very soon, I will. That Ken's email came. You know how like Gmail has like inbox, social, and promotions.
Yeah.
So like my inbox is like stuff that comes to me, and I get emails from Ken there, and then I have like the social thing, and that's like whatever weird like next door app where people go, my cat got away, or some kid stole my candy from the whatever, and like the I don't know if you're on that next door app thing and why everyone has to talk like this, but that's pretty much what that's loaded with. And then I have something that's called what is it? Let's see. I can tell you guys exactly what it's called. Okay, so primary, and then social, and then a thing called promotions. And the last email that I got from Kent, or the second to last email I got, came to my primary thing. And then I sent him an email back, and then he sent me an email back, and it came to the promotions deal, which I rarely look at because I get stuff from like, whatever place I bought paper towels or whatever it was. So like, for example, in the promotions thing right now, there's Vistaprint and Xfinity and spam for an Asian chicks dating website and Simply Safe and Treeline USA, whatever, like stuff like that. But sometimes I'll get like actual real emails to there. So, so Ken, I will be sharing with you guys that tool very soon, and I will send you an email with that information later today. But don't spill the beans, because it's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a big one, you boys.
All right. Scar Guitar says, I'm in need of a new bandsaw. You have the Rikon. What is your preference? How about Grizzly, Jet, etc.?
Scar Guitars, that dude's cool. And there, he sent us the thing. He's like, hey, do you guys want to do a what's that thing where you do collaboration? We're so busy right now. I barely have time to make videos for our stuff. And you guys watching know. And so I'm sorry that I haven't gotten back to you on the whole collaboration deal yet. But let's talk about bandsaws. I'm actually doing a series of stuff right now called Bandsaw Basics. And I was filming part 1 the other day, and I was like, I've had this Rikon bandsaw for over a decade. I bought it at the other house.
Did you buy it new?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought that Rikon bandsaw new,
Okay,
and I
at
had
the
it.
other house.
I had it at the other house on
Okay.
112th.
Yeah.
And so it's been in 3 shops, and I think I've used that bandsaw. If I didn't use that bandsaw 5 days a week, every single day for 10 years, I'd be shocked. We use it that much.
Right.
You know what I mean? It gets used every single day. And it's needed some maintenance and stuff, but it has been an awesome tool, and I would not hesitate to buy another one. In fact, if we scooch over into the other shop there, don't be surprised if when you guys show up for class, there's 2 of those Rikon bandsaws.
There will be 2 bandsaws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't have you know what though? I look around and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a bunch of Grizzly tools that are awesome. I wouldn't have any compunction with buying a Grizzly bandsaw either. Mm-hmm. Especially if you can get a little deal. And we're still working on that deal with Grizzly. I hope that is a thing one day, you guys. So yeah, I want that to be a thing. I wouldn't have issue 1 with buying something from Grizzly. You know what? Chris and I were actually at a tool store the other day. I didn't want
to mention that, but you are correct.
Yeah, we were at McGuckin Hardware in Boulder, Colorado, and they are a Powermatic dealer. And they had there a version of the Powermatic 220 volt, 15-inch planer, exactly like the one we got from Grizzly about a month ago.
Not exactly.
Well, yeah, but very, very similar to the one that we got from
Yes.
Grizzly, and it was like an extra $1,200, $1,500.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I guess that's what you get for made in America Powermatic. I looked at the side, made in Taiwan.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Powermatic is made in Taiwan? And you guys probably know better than I do. That's probably been like that for a long time, but I always associated Powermatic with like made in America. This is the best possible thing you can get. And I'm not saying that Powermatic isn't good, but what I am saying is that the last time I looked, which was just the other day, at a new Powermatic 15-inch planer, it was made in Taiwan, just like my Grizzly tool.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's a global economy, I get that, but man, that Grizzly's been kicking ass, and we use it a lot. And I'm sure that Powermatic is an excellent tool too. But man, you're paying a premium for the name.
Yep. Michael Silva asks, any tips on gluing the rosewood neck to the painted body like the PRS Jazzmaster you guys are working on for me?
Yeah. You want to... Well, first of all, that guitar could go... You could glue that in, or you could bolt it in. That's 6 to 1, half dozen of the other. You want to keep that crisp line, though, because your neck... Hold on, let me go grab... Can you vamp for a second, Chris?
I can vamp,
okay.
Sure. Let me answer another question.
Okay. That's not vamping, that's just doing.
Yeah, well, it worked.
No, it didn't. You missed a bunch of super chats.
No, well, they're there. Yeah, we're getting to those.
Oh, okay. So this is the neck that we're building for you, and this is a chunk. We're gonna do the fender scoop, and it's gonna have another scoop in the headstock area here because the Marauder headstock had that. Yeah, you want to keep this where the neck. Yeah,